today to testify whether or not the park safely maintained and stored their gun, correct?
That is correct, as well as to identify the risk factors associated with gun ownership.
And you've been retained as an expert witness on 15 separate civil court cases.
That is correct.
In each of those 15 court cases, the opposing party was a gun owner or manufacturer.
That is correct.
Now, at first, you were hesitant about doing this case, correct?
I was, yes.
But then you changed your mind.
Yes, two factors changed my mind.
And what were those two factors?
The first and most important factor was that I realized that this would be an excellent opportunity for me to express my message of how important proper gun storage and safety really is to all firearm owners out there. And the second was that Hayden Duran offered to double my hourly rate because a year had passed since the incident had occurred.
So you changed your mind because they doubled your salary
Yes.
and you wanted to prove a point.
I wanted to express a message, yes.
Now moving on to firing of, or the loading of this weapon. You mentioned that it was improbable that Jesse could have loaded this firearm after retrieving it from the safe, correct?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You mentioned that it was improbable that Jesse Duran could have loaded a revolver after retrieving it from the safe.
No, I never testified to that.
Is it your testimony today that you do not believe that Jesse Duran could have loaded a firearm after retrieving it from the safe?
In my report, I make those conclusions. However, in court today, I never made that testimony on direct examination.
Okay. However, the fact that you mentioned that there could have been a possible internet search in which he could have, in your testimony, or not your testimony, what you provided with us today, that they could have used a simple internet search to find out how to load a revolver.
Again, in my report, one of my final conclusions is that due to the accessibility of the internet these days, it is very easy to make a simple Google information search on how to load a revolver, yes.
So Jesse Duran could have loaded a revolver after retrieving a firearm from the safe.
I don't know.
Objection to speculation.
Response?
Your Honor, I'm just trying to get background on this witness testimony, understand where they're coming from when they say that it was impossible for Jesse Duran to load a revolver after retrieving it from the case, leading to a possible intentional shooting.
Response to this?
Opposing counsel is trying to ask my witness whether Jesse loaded that gun that day. Mr. Rosa has no way of knowing whether Jesse could have or did load that gun.
Plaintiff, can you restate the question, please?
So would it be possible for Jesse Duran to use an internet search to find out on how to load a revolver?
I'm going to overrule the objection. The witness is an expert. She can testify.
Yes, Your Honor.
I can say that it is very easy to make an internet search as to how to load a revolver. However, the person who goes and finds that information, I cannot testify as to what they will do with it, but it is possible to learn how to load a revolver by a simple Google internet search.
And just a few more questions. You mentioned that the gun was kept in a safe place, correct?
In my report, I mentioned that the gun is kept in a Gallucci combination safe, yes.
And the parks never revealed this combination to anyone.
None of the information I reviewed indicated that the parks had disclosed this combination.
Objection to lack of personal knowledge.
Response?
Your Honor, in her statements it says that she knows where this particular item was located.
Response, please.
Dr. Rosa does not know whether the parks did or did not tell anyone about the combination. There's no way she could know that. She didn't even know the parks personally.
However, she, may I
counsel?
answer, please?
No. I'm going to overrule the objection. The witness can testify to what she knows or doesn't know.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Could you please ask the question?
Yes. So the parks never revealed this combination to anyone.
The only two affidavits I reviewed were outside of Andy Park were Danny Brooks and Hayden Duran. Now, in those affidavits, as well as Andy, she does not disclose the combination to those two people from what I reviewed.
Now I just have one more final question. Have you ever fired a gun before?
No, that is not necessary in my field of work. I look at how
Objection to
to...
relevance.
Explanation?
Your Honor, this is relevant because it only makes sense that if they're going to testify on the accidental trigger, it only makes sense that they would have experience in firing a gun.
Response, defense?
Your Honor, it does not go to make any fact in this case more or less probable whether Mr. Rosa has fired a gun or not. She's not on trial in this case.
I'm going to grant the objection. Do you have any further questions?
I do not have any further questions.
Any reader? Any seated? Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, I only asked my witness, being allowed to step down.
Absolutely. Thank you.